How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be using the chenille twisting method to make a really cool black, pink, and yellow jig. So for this one, you can tie it on any hook size, but today I'm using a 1/16 ounce jig head. This is a freestyle head with a number 4 sickle hook that I've powder painted with ProTec black. And for the eye on this, I'm using a 5mm 3D eye. And for the thread today, I'm going to be using a black UTC Ultra Thread 70 denier. We're just going to start that thread behind the head and take it down to the point of the hook. For the tail, I'm going to be using one pink and one yellow marabou feather. So we're just going to line up those feathers the best we can, then we're going to take our fingers and just run them up the feather from the stem, and this will straighten the tips out. The goal here is to make sure the tips of each feather are the same, they line up and they're the same length, and we want one to be stacked right on top of the other. It doesn't really matter which is on top and which is on bottom. Once you've got that how you want it, you can measure those out so that they're about the length of the hook, and then pinch them on the hook right at the point and tie those down. Give it a few really tight wraps to keep those in place, and then you can let go and tie the feathers up the rest of the way to the head. This will create a nice base for our chenille so that it will have a nice plump body, and it will keep our feathers tied down so that they won't move on us. Once you got those tied up to the head, you can cut the butt ends, and then we're going to go over all the fluffies with our thread and take the thread back down to the tail to tie it down tight. And then bring your thread back up to the head again. For the body, we're going to be using a couple different chenilles. For the first one, I'm using this Electric Chicken New Age chenille. It's a pink and yellow from Nimrod's Tackle. And for the other one, I'm using a black antron chenille. This is a hairline brand. I got it from Woods and Water Outdoors. So we're going to take a piece of each of those chenilles about 4 inches long, and we're going to tie the tag end in at the head as we tie the rest of the chenille down to the tail. Then take our thread back up to the head. Pull those chenilles up and make sure the tail fibers are not caught up in that. And then we're just going to start twisting that chenille. I like to twist it clockwise. So just give it a few really good twists, and you'll notice that it twists a lot more where you're doing the twist and a lot less where the chenille meets the body. So you'll want to even out the twists by twisting toward the middle and toward the body. And once you're happy with that and it looks like a nice even chenille, you can start twisting that up the body to the head. I like to use the rotary function so we don't let the chenille slip out of our hands. And this will help us to just create a nice even body. We just want to keep it tight and keep each turn pressed right up against the last. Once you've got the chenille up to the head, you can tie it down with a few tight wraps of thread. Do one wrap in front of the chenille, and then you can just clip those off as close to the body as possible. Pull out any of the fluffies left behind, then you can do a couple taming wraps to make sure those ends are tied down. And then we're going to whip finish. So we're just going to keep the whip finish wraps pressed against the head, between the body and the head, so that they're not up on the body so you can't see the thread very well. Pull our thread tight and clip it off. And as you can see, that end product is just a really cool jig. I love using these colors together. Sometimes you wish you had a chenille of certain colors, and you can just make your own by twisting them together using this method. The chenille is really key when you're twisting. A lot of people aren't too good at twisting it, and it will look a lot better if you use the right chenilles. So I love to use a crystal or a new age chenille, and then for the other one I like to use antron. They just work really well together. The end product looks really good. So go ahead and try this one out. I'm sure you'll like it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe.